Hello fellow travelers, and welcome to another episode of In-Depth Boss Guide series, where we take a closer look at the VAT's major threats. I'm too lazy to be awesome, and today we meet algorithm of semi-intransient matrix of overseer network. And even Hoyoverse can't decide how to shorten this incredible name, so let's go with just ASIMON. You can notice the main feature of ASIMON as soon as you enter the arena. The boss becomes invisible during the fight, and unlike with its first appearance or other primal constructs, you won't even see its outline. While boss is invisible, it leaves its parts to fight you, and they don't really pose much of a threat. Meanwhile, boss itself gains additional resistance, but if you knock the boss out of this state, it will be stunned for several seconds and you will be able to safely deal damage to it. There are two ways to do so. First is very straightforward but quite slow. If you manage to destroy one of the parts left by the boss, it enters recovery state and tries to repair damaged parts using Dendro energy. If you hit one of them with Electro during that, it will overload the boss. Another way to stun ASIMON is to hit it directly with both Dendro and Electro to trigger Quicken. This is way faster, but the tough part is to find the boss while it's completely invisible, and there are several tricks that can help you with that. When boss becomes invisible, it removes any element previously applied to it. But if you apply an element after it disappears, it will stay and you will be able to see its floating effect. Boss usually doesn't move far away, so big AoEs used around the center have a decent chance to hit the boss and expose it. But unlike elements, boss doesn't clear debuffs applied to it, so you can use them to quickly find it instead. Any debuff will work, including set bonuses. ASIMON also has the highest target priority for summons, and they will attack it if it's in their range. And lastly, you can simply spam aimed attacks. The boss is pretty big, so there is a decent chance that you will hit it if you just randomly shoot in the air, although it's more luck dependent option. While boss is invisible, it moves randomly within the arena, but every time when it becomes invisible, it simply dashes forward in the direction it's facing, so if you're quick enough, you won't even have to look for it. I highly recommend to use one of those methods because it allows you to stun the boss in just a few seconds after it becomes invisible. Sadly, boss doesn't have anything interesting to show you apart from becoming invisible. When you start the fight, it performs a completely overkill attack which you can simply walk away from. And it's the only time boss actually does that. Then it proceeds to performing a single attack and cloaking itself, over and over and over again. There are 6 options for this attack. One for each part it uses for cases when you manage to stun it, and one for empowered attack using 2 of its parts combined if it manages to finish its repair, which normally shouldn't even happen. So here's how you deal with them. For normal attacks, you should move away, stay close, move away or stay close. And for combined attacks, just move away, stay close, and that's the tough one. Tracking for this attack is absolutely brutal, but you can still avoid damage with well-timed dashes, although the timing is pretty tough, so instead you can hide behind something, including arena itself. Just make sure to come back inside shortly after. And finally, ASIMON has very scary overcloaked attack, which it performs after staying invisible without being stunned for too long. It releases a shockwave which you can simply dash through to avoid damage. And if that's not enough, after that, boss will also be stunned. Moreover, you can even stun ASIMON while it's charging this attack. Seriously, what a failure.
Emotional damage!
The best strategy to fight ASIMON is to constantly stun it. You can make it work with just Electro, but it's better to include a Dendro character as well to quickly knock ASIMON out of invisibility with no need to destroy any of its parts first. Using characters that apply debuffs is probably the best way to track the boss, but if you don't want to use them, bringing any other option is enough to handle it with ease. And also keep in mind that archers have an easier time to hit the boss while it's invisible, since your attacks won't target it and instead they will be drawn towards its parts. I would highly recommend to use Raiden for this fight. With her skill active, you only need to hit the boss with Dendro attack to trigger Quicken. And it also helps with detecting the boss with aimed attack spam, since boss will be marked with Electro as soon as you hit it. Fischl is another great option. Her ability to reposition Oz allows you to quickly find and apply Electro to the boss. Yaemiko works basically the same, but instead of one summon, she can use 3 of them with bigger range. Tartaglia is a decent option as well. He can easily maintain a long-lasting debuff on the boss with his attacks. You can also use Lisa for that, but keep in mind that even though she can help you with spotting the boss, her normal attacks won't hit it while it's invisible, which makes her less reliable when it comes to applying Electro afterwards. And lastly, Zhongli is a nice pick here, since his shield also reduces enemies' resistance around you, which allows you to spot the boss while it's invisible and completely ignore the ads as a bonus. Your main goal is to make sure you have a way to knock ASIMON out of invisibility as fast as possible. I personally use Kali with Raiden for that, but feel free to pick whatever suits you best and you'll have no problems with this boss. There's just one hidden achievement related to ASIMON that you can earn. In order to get it, just let the boss stay invisible and wait for it to start charging an overcloaked attack. You don't have to let it finish, you'll get the achievement as soon as boss starts casting it. Technically, you can also earn another achievement here since ASIMON is a primal construct, but instead of suffering with the boss, just do it on a common enemy. There are also achievements related to ASIMON in Challenger section, but I've already covered them in another video, so check it out if you want tips on those. Anyway, that's all for now, fellow travelers. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.